I had cancer. We say had like it's a thing acquired, like a dinner party hosted, a shirt, dress, car once owned. I had cancer. Where's the return receipt? I didn't buy this dish. This one size fits all fits far too many. I had cancer and my world was upended. Those who know, you can't exchange it. No return to how it was before. I had cancer. Never more the simple of life seems such. Each moment, each breath, each word, glance, and laugh. I had these too. I had cancer. I had the mask of immortality. Cancer ripped it away and took up roost. Unwanted house guest. I had cancer, and so I cleaned house, took stock in who and what, dusted and purged, remade myself. Like a new outfit can change your look, a gathering can affect you long past its moments, the costs and pleasures of the things acquired ripple over time. I redonned the mantle of life. I took out the cancer, and with it, the deep, rotting parts of me.
Yes.
Those I gave back, no refund requested. No place for them here anymore.
That's right. Woo!
So as you just gathered, I had cancer.
Yeah.
And tonight is a particularly significant night for me, and thank you, Sunny, for giving me this night.
Hey, and Leslie for switching.
And for Leslie, yes, I was getting there, but my paper blew away. And Leslie for switching nights with me, because as of today, I am 3 years cancer-free.
So,
Hell yeah.
I wouldn't wish cancer on anybody. Duh. And cancer became my crucible. Cancer became my transformative experience. Through cancer, I threw myself into deep, deep self-reflection. I was still doing that. Unearthing things I thought I had understood, only to find I didn't understand it before, and think I understood it, and unearth it a little more, and a little more, and a little more. For years, decades, I share the adoption bond with Sunny. I didn't think I had adoption abandonment issues. I thought I figured them out when I was 40. No, I really figured them out now, especially having been raised by a narcissistic mom. So I carry those through my journey, and cancer ripped away not only the masks others put on me, but more importantly, the ones that I put on myself.
Yeah.
So tonight, I am celebrating. You are all here celebrating with me.
yeah.
You look beautiful. And I appreciate every single one of you for being here. And I'm going to tell you a story. This is a story about my path. I'm going to tell it not in memoir, the way I usually tell those stories, not in fiction, which is another way I tell stories, but this one's in poetry. But I like to think of it as a 3-act play, and you just heard the prologue. So thank you for your patience as I take you on a journey. Act 1, awareness. This is called Not for the Night. There are things not meant for the night. That time where we let down our walls, slide into our sheets, cocooned under the false protection of wide skeins of fabric. Not meant for that moment where activity stops, when the mind gives way, releasing the pretense of control, slips into its own world of theatrics and mysterious paintings, spins webs of curious design. There are things not meant for that time. Words cut deep into the core, upending all vestiges of safety, of comfort, the truest antithesis of nurture. Unbidden, my hands placed on the splintery shaft of the shovel, foot propelled into its step, prematurely cast as gravedigger, taught to bury protest under the false mask of sanctioning. To be unearthed in that time is to dig up the raw materials for a lifetime of walls, a near permanent shearing of self, the unrooting of the most fragile tenders of soul. Guiding light. I retreated into silence, slid layers of expectation over my skin, morphed, changed, bent, always in the direction of the blowing winds. Yet exuberance wrought cracks in my protective layering. I burst forth, despite myself, into the clarity of disapproval. Your voice carries. Be quiet. Shame flares. Too loud. Shh. Don't speak. Do not speak. Writhing embarrassment. Clarity of the worst kind. I am simply too much. Disparagement falls upon me. Echoes inside fundamental undesirability. Hastily, I coat the gaps in my mask with thick, wet mud. Hide my voice. Listen to the pulses of the conversation. Follow. Never, ever lead. Winds are fickle with bursting gusts and sudden lulls. They suck the air out of me, leave me bereft, reveal the emptiness chasing them has brought. A lifetime of self-suppression buried under a layer of external measures, approvals to guarantee survival in a world where the guillotine lurks in the shadows, always a looming, unseen threat. As if surfacing from the water for the first time ever, I suck in air in huge, starved, greedy gulps. My voice bursts forth, propels the blade away with my ferocious, ringing song. I am done with crawling into the shadows. Dust off the coating covering my skin, remove the muffles choking my throat and lungs, seek my own guiding light. This one is called Flow. It's also River too, because I have many river poems. Adrift and alone, carried down the clogged river, clutching a broken tree limb, foot on shorn, corrugated plastic, seeking the buoying lift of disparate refuse in the relentless waters. I float through life in this attached, detached way, connected, but barely, pulled in different directions, relentlessly struggling to keep my hold. The river waters churn, placid becomes pulling, pulling becomes threatening. My grip on my feeble flotsam slips. Water cascades over rocks, around bends. My head becomes immersed. I struggle for air. In a flash, I see that I'm being drowned by the very things that moored me. I let go. Let go of the rotted wood, fingers reluctantly releasing in a cramped claw. Let go of the opaque, brittle sheeting. Free my foot from its hold on that rigid surface. I am neither of them. I am of both of them. I will never be them. Free of my propping chains, I float, panicked at first. Then, as the current continues its ceaseless progress, calm. The waters aren't less fraught, no less powerful, but I begin to enjoy the ride. Floating on my back, arms spread wide, gazing up at the clouds and passing trees, carried along, bobbing over and around what were once hazards, the rush becomes intoxicating. At times, the flow slows. I look around, assess my bearings, and keep on, ferried now in my own connectedness with the river, free of the chains, always remembering from where I came. Pause for a drink. Act 2, grief. This has come out to play. Hello? Does anyone want to play? I'm here, really here. No masks, unless we want to play superheroes. No dolls, they aren't who I am. Yes to the dirts and bikes, but no thank you, snakes and lizards. I'm here, finally, but no one else is around. Like a lone child standing on the curb, bouncing a ball while dejectedly looking about, I have finally come out to play, only to find no one looking my way. No one to bandy a storm of make-believe, reality-wrought truth. I'm here, finally, and isolation requires a void. Everyone held back as if punished for not cleaning their rooms. Like a child bursting forth from her hiding spot in hide and seek, only to find all the others ran away. I'm here, ready, finally to risk derision over my choice of games, to play on despite it, so I can find my posse of kids. Me, the real me. Finally, here. Hello? Is there anyone who wants to play with me? Heartstone. My legs buckle under the added weight of my heart, sinking me to the ground, gravitational pull lowering me to the earth. My face bites into the dirt, grinding pebbles into my cheek, chokes my throat with dust. The pain momentarily distracts me, my focus diverted from the stone weight in my chest, that beating pulse echoing forth with sadness. I bring my hands up and gingerly wipe my skin. Wetness coats my hands. Blood or tears? Does it matter? I lie there flattened on the ground, slowly trying to regain control. Feel the sun upon my back, the wind against my skin. A bird flutters past. Perspective settles in. I rise to hands and knees, forcing my muscles to bear their new burden. This heaviness of my heart, fearing, accepting, mourning what is lost and to come. I heave myself upright, slowly begin walking again. This is called picking. You don't have to duck, grab a seat. I am stupid. Picking at the scab as if expecting what? A fresh bloom of deliciousness? No, it oozes and seeps without fail. A flash flare of angst and pain I thought I'd overcome. Instead, with roaring clarity, the agony returns as if I had been freshly gouged. And worse still is the knowing. The knowing what would happen and doing it anyway. watching my hands slowly and inexorably rip into the scab, dig in the flesh, ferret in the now gaping wound, as if what else would I find other than flayed raw nerves newly exposed to the air, screaming in dismay. I pack it with mud, drown the screams with anything I can find, slam the lid closed, though tendrils snake out and wave at me. Ever the fool, expecting what? A release from the torture of my own mind? Crack, not the kind on the streets. Well, those two. Kind of funny making a joke in the middle of grief. That's how I got through cancer. Soft rapping on the other side of the door, boomingly loud, and the silence resounds against the thick, heavy planks built to plug the hole that was her. A glimpse, she stands there, alternately trying to look subdued and earnest, masking from herself the grasping eagerness of her knuckles, writhing with layers of indecision peppered with want and fear. My hand finds the knob, moving as if detached from my own arm, turns gently to the right. With a quiet snick, the barrier dissolves. Just a crack, a small glimpse from this side to her, may as well have thrown the door wide. In a heady rush, everything I'd locked down roars to the surface. The desire, the pain, the deep ache wrought from my terminal inability to understand the illogic of it all. With a willpower I'd struggled to gain, my right foot extends, preventing this further swing of the blockade, even as I lean toward the small gap. Fingertips taste a wisp of what was. The craving roars inside me. I want to throw away the door. Slowly, sucking on my own grief like air, I pull my hand inside, place it against the wood, lean my body forward into my extended limb, close the minuscule gap. Light from the outline penetrates my vision, burning into the back of my brain, no longer a forgotten, walled-over hole. My heart beats a familiar rhythm, reminds me with its sudden deep ache of vacuum what the door is for. Act 3, emerging. I wasn't going to say this, but this is my most recent poem. It's about 10 days old.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
This is called Back. Back. We say back as if there is really a return, as if we can slip to where we once were, discarding the understandings, the awarenesses, the things that have happened. There is no back, no return to the oblivion that once shrouded us, to the masks and mirrors, the drapes of cloth clouding our eyes, bolstering our hearts, puffed up traipsing in fundamentally false packaging. Back. Back means a return to the falsehood, to the delusions of self and of other, to the fundamental mismatch that scoured and gouged, as if adding more fluff can change the final result. And yet we long, we pine for the moments we had, those glimpses of heavenly divinity. We want back there, to have another chance to rise up through the mire and elevate where we have come to where we could have gone. That's the real back. Back to possibility, to hope and to dreams, to longings that have not yet been dashed upon a craggy shore. When I say back, it's not to the past, it's to the moments that derailed me from the future I hoped I would have. This is art noir, and I know the term is film noir, poetic license.
Yep.
It finally feels like another lifetime ago. The thought of you and me conjures a quizzical, huh, imagine that. The lure of your gaze, your touch, has faded behind the rusty patina of time and distance. I can recall the moments of bliss and of anguish, still with sparkling, stark clarity. But now it's as watching a film, a nouveau form of art noir. The sound bites crackle, projector clicking as the film runs past. There's something a little off, out of sync between the soaring soundtrack and the script that plays out on the screen. I see it now. The places I wanted to look past in order to remain in the clouds among the heavens. We could have stayed there had you wanted. It was real too. A sad bemusement fills me now. No doubt moments of intense loss will still surface, like the aftermath of a brilliant cinematic work. Raw emotion erupts in unexpected bursts, the pulses of which dissipate slowly as the story fades. Forged. I sat in the flowing water, river caressing my naked flesh in a full body embrace. The ceaseless roar of the cascade quieted the deepest screams in my body, my breasts bared in the water. These breasts that have been cut, these breasts that have been radiated. The water churns against them, cooling them as if for the first time since my cancer battle. My flesh still marred, forever scarred, echoes the malformation of me inside. But just as the physical disfigurement healed me, so too did the inner defilement. I have been made anew, forged on the anvil of my own existence. I sit in the woods, I sit in the river, embracing, finally, the twisting path of my own life. Gonna have another drink for that one.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. And this is badge of honor. Jagged arch of disfigured flesh like an eyebrow raised in indignation. Its bold strokes glare at me, bespeaking pain, loss. My pristine skin gouged, cut, pieces of me removed. Burnt layers reflecting, deeper burn through and through within. That scar, the one I see without seeking it, it screamed at me, howled with the repressed echoes of everything trapped in me, all of the words silenced inside my bones and flesh. Then one day, like a switch had been thrown, it quieted. Stood a sentinel watching with serenity, the curve, a small flag blowing in the gentle morning breeze. Out of the quietude and tranquility, my attention was caught by a sound as soft as a sweet, gentle sigh. There, at the edge of hearing, a wisp of a melody. With my attention, it grew louder and more robust. I listened, and because I listened, it sang. Sang to me of my strength, a canticle of my life lived, accomplishments, struggles, and most of all, attainments. The foul growth is gone, replaced by the truest kind of expansion. Above my heart now lives a badge of honor. We have reached the epilogue. Acceptance. Shimmering light of dawn breaks through the trees, heralded by the rushing cascade of the river. Birds, melodious, sing of joy, of calm, of peace, of possibility. The air crisp, scented heavily by Christmas pine aroma, bathes my senses. I am complete, at one, still. No need to move, no bustle. Calm content, these woods sing to my soul. Invite me to open all my senses wide. The earth, the sky, the trees, the water, refill me, replenish parts of me I didn't know were empty. Accepted by the pines, their ancient knowing feel. They remind all is right, all is well. Change is the only permanency. Change and the astounding beauty of life. You guys are going to make me cry.
Cry.
Again, cry. Stand up again. I'm gonna get a photo for you. It's your fucking party, man. You gotta stand up. Oh,
That's right, it is.
great.
Thank you.
So creatively done.
Thank you.
That vlog at all. I want to do something different. I want to keep you on the hot seat. That was an incredible read, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes. So honored to be a part of your anniversary and your fucking life.
Well, and I don't think I said, did I say that I didn't write before cancer?
No. What?
No, you didn't share that at all, Kelly.
Sorry, I had my notes.
Come back in, come back in.
Yeah, I didn't write before cancer. A dear friend lovingly and persistently nudged me, and I resisted, and then I finally started writing in September of 2019. And once I started, I had unleashed the floodgates.
So we started in August of 19. Were we just calling each other in or
Must
what?
have been.
I hope that's the case for a lot of you out there today, that it just feels like you're being called in and that this was the show you were meant to attend, and that you feel changed in a bit for it. Yeah, thank you for inviting us. So what I want to do a little different is, since you're open, right, like after a headliner is, they just gave you their soul, and we graciously accept. Why don't we do a little like Q&A moment? Because I know you like to fucking talk about yourself. I like to fucking talk about myself too. I'll start. How much of new writing of traumas came about in COVID? Because you spoke of isolation and meeting yourself after the age of 40. I would not have guessed. And how much of that happened after COVID or inside of?
Well, I mean,
COVID over?
technically, yes, no isolation.
Right. Here.
That's a good question. That's a hard question. I think it all started with bits of trauma spread through it. I mean, I started with writing memoir. Then my first piece was actually a piece I wrote and had the privilege to perform with Vamp, which, if you guys don't know about So Say We All's Vamp, you should check that out. It's a memoir showcase. And that was a piece I wrote that fundamentally was about the process I went through to determine which surgery I was going to pick, because I was lucky enough to at least have that choice. And I sketched the irony of my choice with my childhood, because as you may have discerned from some of those poems, I've learned a lot about myself that I didn't understand. Not that my folks meant wrong, but adoption is a thing. It's a legit thing. And being raised by a narcissist, that's a gnarly thing. So, I mean, you heard the last poem. That's certainly not trauma there. That was born out of a love for camping that I didn't discover until isolation. Needing to take my daughter somewhere, but where could you go? It was in the summer of 20. It was safe to camp. And another dear friend gently nudged me with I dare you to camp. Just one night. And I answered it with 6. So it, you know, I think it's had layers. It's had layers and layers and layers. And the poem "Come Out to Play."
Yeah.
That was like, okay, I've stepped into my skin and bye. You know, like all of us, we all had to shut down so entirely, and I endured hell in 2019, only to come out and hit hell.
Right, collectively.
Collective hell. It's like when everybody's like, oh, it's been a rough 2 years. I'm like, 3. Got 3. But yeah.
That's such a great way to put on the timeline. And so true about camping. Totally off on subject. Dixon Lake, guys, that's like really close, right? Thank you. Yeah, we're going there this weekend. It's Easter Bunny Forest this weekend for me and my 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Great place to. Let's do that sometime. Kid, yeah, Rian, we'll have a big kid camp. Yep.
Word.
All right. One question from the audience. Anybody? Please do. Maybe you want an early time. I don't see Kelly out every Tuesday. Kelly.
Don't be shy. I don't bite.
Yeah. Perfect. You go first. Yeah.
What did cancer teach you? I know you just read through your soul and your thoughts in there, but what was like the one vital lesson you learned you got from it?
Don't wait.
Oh. Damn.
It's not worth it to wait. Don't wait to be you. Don't wait to do the things you've always wanted to do. Don't wait to have the conversations you want to have or need to have, no matter how hard. Don't wait and hide yourself, your emotions, your needs, your wants. Don't wait. Be you. Be relentlessly you. Don't wait.
Breaking out in poem right then. Why don't we do a writer's prompt? Anyone want to send in a poem to Poets Underground on Instagram? And it's prompted with "Don't wait." I'll send it, forward it on to Kelly, and maybe we'll feature it next week. That'd be super dope.
Sweet.
Let's all not wait to write that poem.
Word.
Word?
Word.
Word. It's official then. Fucking 2 words, that's what that means, yeah?
Yeah.
Do we have one more hand up before we move on to open mic?
Somebody back there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone back there.
Was there ever another time in your life that you thought you could write or thought about writing at all? Like maybe it had like just a light spark in the back of your head, like a light longing that's like long on.
It's also a really good question. So to give a tiny bit of sordid history, my mom, God love her, impressed upon me over and over and over again as a child how amazing her writing was and how weak mine was. And coupled that with the time that my brother found my diary and read it with his friends, that pretty much put the nail in what I thought was ever going to be my writing coffin. And obviously I'm a little verbose. And apparently extemporaneously create poetry.
That's a great word.
There were points now that I look back. I didn't see them as benchmarks of writing to be at the time, but there are points when I look back that I go, oh, hey, dummy. Oh, and look at that. Like when I was 15, I was a camp counselor, and one of my good friends of mine, he started it. He wrote on an index card and handed me the card, and I like looked at him like, what? And we wrote a story back and forth all summer, you know, like a hand, a couple lines, a page, whatever it was. Little moments like that that are actually peppered throughout my life. But I'm a musician. I've been a musician since I was 17. So I never, people say, do you write songs? No, I don't write songs. I definitely don't write lyrics. I write lyrics now too. And songs.
Harder to write than poems.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sorry?
They're harder to write than poems.
You think?
I think so.
I would
Huh.
agree so.
Anyway,
Yeah, they were like
I find them.
the chorus structured into a melody, of course.
Well, Yeah, okay. Well, I'll think about that. Haven't done a lot of it yet. So when my pen found the page, finally, fingers on the keys, it was like I was drinking from the water, the water well that I hadn't known that I was missing. And literally, when I say that once I started writing, I unleashed the floodgates. I'm grateful. Don't get me wrong. But I unleashed the floodgates. It's a little like, wow, how could I have missed it that long? And I think it's because I was so busy trying to fit into someone else's world, into someone else's idea and model and thoughts about what I should be and who I should be and how I should be. That there was no space for me to be.
Yeah.
Wow.
So don't wait.
Don't wait.
Take out your fucking glasses.
Oh God, I don't mind giving you my autograph.
Do you have anything to sell or anybody you would like to point to have stuff sold?
I don't have anything to sell tonight.
I have nothing to sell, but we own Kelly's Soul Inside the Fuck Isolation anthology.
It is in the anthology. I do have a speculative fiction piece that has been published.
Let me get that.
Where can we find your work?
You can, thank you, Lucky. So hit me up. My website's kellybowenarts.com. I've got some poetry in.
You got some shit coming out.
I've got some poetry in Poets Underground anthology and a couple other anthologies. I've got a memoir piece that So Say We All published.
We are not talking about other people's anthology.
No. Well, because
that's
poets.
not true. Sorry.
But the best one is poets.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you have a bunch of stuff. Everyone wants your work.
And I will start shopping my first novel this year.
Yeah.
Woo!
Speaking of novels, giveaways, and stuffs, Anthony, how many people actually did the raffle tonight? Please do tell.
I'm not gonna name any names, but there's only one.
There's only one fucking name in the raffle, guys.
You guys know there's a raffle.
What gas station are you going to that you are in such a good position that you don't need free shit? I need to know where that gas station is. I went to the Costco when it was still $100. We have only one person that wants free stuff. For real, every time you come, please make sure when you sign up, it's free. Just put your name in the raffle. We want to give you stuff that makes you feel connected and warm if that's what you have. Who is the lucky